Hi, I'm Mike, and this is my bonsai. Uh, I've had this bonsai since about May of 2021. It was given to me as a birthday gift by my wife. Um, I think that this is a ficus, probably a ficus microcarpa. I'm guessing. I'm definitely not an expert. But I had wanted a bonsai for quite a few years. I remember when I was a kid watching the movie Karate Kid, and there's that scene with Daniel and Mr. Miyagi, and they're doing the bonsai trimming, and I always just thought that was such a neat idea. It seemed so peaceful and relaxing, and anyway, it's just something I kind of wanted to give a try. So anyway, I had a bonsai on my wish list for a while on Amazon, and my wife went ahead and got it for me for my birthday. And anyway, it's been growing pretty well. I got some, food for it, and when I first got it, it was maybe just about as tall as the top of the branches here. And since then, with food and everything else, it's grown I don't know, 2 inches, or maybe that's 3 inches. I don't know. But anyway, everything I've been reading seems like it indicates it's time to prune it. At least like just a basic maintenance prune anyway. Um, I've never done this. So I have literally no idea what I'm doing apart from just what I've read online. Um, so I have read a number of articles and watched some videos, and I guess I have a little bit of an idea, but, but this is really very much a trial and error thing. Um, but anyway, I'm going to give it a shot. Um, I think the first thing that needs to be done, from what I've read, is that you kind of need to get a sense of which side of the ficus or of the bonsai is going to be the front. Um, so you keep that in mind as you're performing your cuts. Um, I don't know how well you can see this side here, but there's a good amount of exposed trunk here, which apparently is desirable. So I'm thinking this will probably be my front. If I rotate it around here, this other side, on the opposite side, has this branch here and this branch here, which would kind of obscure the front. And I think that's not really something that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and probably make this be the back. And then this side here will be the front. I think that's going to work. And that way, um, you know, these other branches here can kind of fill it in around the back. The front will stay more or less visible as far as the trunk is concerned. There is this one branch here, this one right here, that it looks like maybe it might have been broken off in shipping. That's a guess. It never had any leaves when it first arrived, and it has not yet grown any. Um, and so ultimately, I may wind up just taking it off, but I don't want to do that yet. I'm so new to this, and theoretically, this could grow and maybe fill in some on the back here. So I hate to lose that opportunity to let it do that. So I figure I'll give it, you know, a year or whatever, and if it grows, great, and if not, well then I'll go ahead and take it off. But I think a lot of my work is going to be up here, just kind of reducing the height. From what I've read, it sounds like you're supposed to reduce it to 2 leaves once it's grown 5 or 6 more. So a lot of these I'm going to be taking off, I guess, most of the growth that's happened since I got it. But the other thing I want to do is I want to start getting in here, and there's a lot of little tiny branches in here that are kind of, seems like it's, just cluttered in there, and it's sort of obscuring the clean lines. Um, so I think I want to take those out if I can. Um, and hopefully it survives this. I mean, it's my first one. I've never done it before. So I guess, who knows, maybe it won't. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't. From what I read, it sounds like a lot of people kill their very first bonsai tree, so I guess it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. Um, so the first thing I want to do here is, let's see, I've got some tools that I got on Amazon to help make this go a little easier, not just be trying to use a pair of, like, grocery store scissors or something. So I got a whole set, but these are just the ones I'm planning on using. So I've got this kind of heavier duty clip here, or I guess maybe they're scissors, or I don't know. Seems like this would probably be good for some of the, like, maybe slightly thicker areas that I might need to cut. Then there's this pair right here, nice and long. Seems like this would be really good for getting into the denser areas, kind of pushing through that foliage and getting in there and making very clean cuts. And then the last thing that I think I'll be using is these. These are just like little tiny, they say they're leaf clippers, which I guess makes sense because it seems like this would be perfect for just trimming off, one leaf at a time or something. So I think I'll be making fairly heavy use of these. So, like I said, I'm just going to get started. Um, since I've decided that this is the back of my tree and the side over here is the front, I think the first thing I want to do is I want to look at the front and figure out what is obscuring the lines of the trunk so that I can start making some judicial cuts right there. Looks to me like this little stem right here and this one, I think those are both going to have to go. And once we've taken those off, we'll take another look and see. So I am just going to clip this. See if these will do it. Look at that. And I left a little nub there. I've read that if you clip it like that and you leave a little nub, that the remaining nub will dry out after a few days or a week or two, and then you can just sort of rub it off with your finger, and it'll leave less of a blemish on the actual tree itself. So taking that one off, this is the next one I want to do. And I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just take that whole branch off. So same thing, leaving a little nub there, little cuttings. So right there, you can see already that sort of opened it up on the front here. So you can really see the entire line of the trunk. That's good. I think the next thing I want to do is figure out what is the primary, I'm sure there's some term for it, I've probably even read about it, but what is the primary like growth direction? And it looks like it kind of looks like, so it's coming up here. And there's a lot of stuff up here, but it kind of looks like this here is the main growth direction that it's heading in. So I think I want to keep that. It looks like there's a lot of stuff coming off of there, so I don't want to lose too much of that if I can help it. But it looks like a lot of this other stuff I'll probably be able to get rid of. So let's go ahead and let's start here. This will probably be the easiest. So we've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 leaves here. I don't want to lose a lot of this length because I really do see this one having the potential to really fill out into a nice arm with lots of good foliage on it. So I don't want to lose this growth here, and I don't want to lose this growth here. But I think I can probably go ahead and take off this leaf and maybe even all of this right back here. That'll leave, a couple leaves here, so it's still healthy, and it can still fill in with some more smaller leaves. So let's go ahead and start with this one down here. And then these here. Take off the smaller one. And let's go ahead and take off this one right here. And we'll go ahead and take off this one. It's a little different than what I was originally saying, but what I'm wanting to do is I want to preserve these tips that are growing so that it'll keep going. And I want to leave, a good healthy leaf on each of the branches so it can keep soaking up sunlight and keep getting plenty of nutrients. But my hope is that by taking off some of these smaller, well, I guess they weren't smaller, but some of these other leaves down here at the junctions, that it'll prompt it to start growing some smaller leaves along the stems. We'll see. It sounds like that's a thing that these do. I mean, this is my first time, so who knows? I did read about the little milky white sap that the ficus bleeds, because it's apparently part of the same family of trees as rubber trees. So that sap will seal up these cuts. They're probably small enough it wouldn't matter anyway. But all right, so I think we're done with this one. Let's go ahead and turn it around. This is my front again here. And I think I need to clean up this here. I think the big thing I want to make sure of is I don't want any limbs growing back towards the trunk. So I think this one for sure is going to have to go, the entire thing. And then these ones here are kind of starting to form a nice pad. But I just need to kind of clean it up a little and remove a couple of the leaves so that it can fill in with some smaller ones, hopefully. So let's start by removing, let's see if I can get to it. start by removing this one right here. So that opens that up a little bit. And then let's start looking at which of these leaves do we need to lose and which ones can we keep. So I want to keep this one because it's growing out this way. It might be nice if this branch were growing up and then there were a branch growing off of it. So I want to keep that as an option. This one, I think I'm going to lose this leaf right here because it's growing towards the tree. So take that off real quick. And then let's take off this one right here. So that's good. We've got 3 leaves there now. That can keep growing. Maybe sprout some other stuff. So we'll see. All right. Now this one in the back. I think I'm going to take off this leaf here because it's kind of growing towards this other pad here, and I don't want that. I don't want conflicting growth patterns. So I'm going to take that one off. And I want to keep this one that's kind of growing down. That'll give me an option. And I think I will go ahead. I'm going to take off this rear one. So that way, hopefully the tip here has more incentive to keep growing. This one sort of in the middle can keep growing up. This one can keep growing back, and this one can maybe grow down a little. That one might have to take some training, maybe some wires at some point, which we are not at that point yet, I don't think. But, all right, so the last one we're dealing with is this sort of side one here. Let's do we're going to do this one because it's too close to this one. So if this grows, actually, you know what? Let's not do that because if this one grows, it'd be more straight. This one's growing down. Let's do this one instead. So if this one grows out, this would be too close. And let's see. Let's take out this one back here. And so that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on here. Let's go ahead and take out I'm going to take out this one. So the tip can keep growing up. This one can keep growing out. This one's growing this way. Um, I think this one here, the small one, will probably need to be taken off eventually because it's too close to the main stem here, and it's kind of growing towards front, which might be a problem later. So anyway, but I'm going to leave it for now, um, just so it doesn't look too barren in the meantime. So we're done with this arm here. Um, so now I want to work on these ones towards the rear of the tree. We've got this, if we pull these aside, we've got this whole line here, which it's actually got a fair amount of growth on it, so that's pretty good. So we'll have to figure out what we're doing here. So right now I'm just looking at what is growing off of this. Looks like we've got at least one leaf, one stem that's growing back towards the tree. So I'm going to take that one off first because I definitely don't want that. All right. Let's see. We've got this whole line right here. It's kind of growing kind of weird, but that could maybe be okay um, with some training. So I'm going to leave that one. We've got these two here that are going basically straight back. I'm going to leave both of those. And then we've got this line here that's growing essentially straight up. I don't want it to be conflicting with this one too much. So I'm going to start by taking off this leaf down here. So there's not something growing towards this other one. And then I also want to take off this leaf and this leaf. All right, and I'm leaving these three leaves up here at the top so that it doesn't look barren. Actually, you know what? Let's take off one more. Let's take off this one since it's kind of growing in the same direction as this. Okay. All right. What else? So we gotta deal with this one that's growing kind of sideways. Let's go ahead and take off this one. And we're going to take off this one, since it's sort of duplicating that same direction. We've got a brand new baby one growing out here, right here from the tip, so that's good. We'll go ahead. Let's go ahead and we're going to leave those three for now. I don't want to, I was thinking about taking off this one here because it's sort of also growing back towards the trunk, but I don't want this limb to get unhealthy and not get enough nutrients. I want to make sure that this tiny baby leaf keeps growing. So I'd rather leave the leaf on there, but maybe, maybe in another 2 months or so, kind of at the end of the growing season, at the end of summer, maybe see how this is doing and then take this one off at that time. So we're done with that one. These we're keeping. So we got these two down here. I don't know if you can see that. Got two different ones, two different stems there. Both growing in the same direction, which we probably don't want. Um, so I think I'm going to take off almost all of one of these stems because it's too close to replicating the same growth pattern. But I do want to keep, there's one leaf here that's growing out and then up, and I think that could be worth keeping, so we are going to snip that one. Keep that one lone leaf. And then this one, I'm going to take off this leaf back here that's kind of growing towards the trunk. And let's go ahead, take off this leaf. And we've still got the tip here, so maybe it can sprout and fill in another couple leaves here. And then these three we're just going to keep. Okay. So that is the tree now. Starting to look a little sparse. That's okay. I think. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Alright, so we got this little shoot here. It's kind of growing, I don't know. It's not really replicating a growth pattern, but I am concerned that it's sort of conflicting with the trunk here. So I think I'm going to take off that whole thing. Okay. All right. So now we're basically left with the crown. And it is pretty congested in there. Let's see what we got here. We got this limb here, tiny limb there. So it looks like, I don't know how well you can see it, but this limb right here is growing up and over this other one here, which is probably not a good growth pattern. I wouldn't want limbs rubbing up against each other. So I'm going to have to do something about that. And then we've got a whole lot of seemingly, sort of dead little twigs in there. I'll need to see about getting those out. Alright, we got a couple kind of growing in the same direction here. So for these, since they are growing in the same direction, let's just start by taking off the one towards the rear. So get rid of that. And we'll come back and we'll clean that up a little after I've actually removed some of this so it's a little easier to get to. Alright. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put these down, break out these babies, so that I can kind of get in here and get to some of these tiny twigs in the midst of all that growth. So let's just start back here. Nice and dry, it came right off. Another one. Kind of hard to see everything in there, so I don't want to risk taking off stuff that might have growth I want to keep. So just going slow. Feel like we're getting somewhere. Let's see, is there anything growing on that one? No? Alright, so let's take that one. Right. I will say a lot of these tiny twigs up here seems pretty obviously dead because they're very dry. They're just snapping right off, which is good. Starting to be able to see in there a little bit better. Let's come around to this other side. Well, let's see, we got this stem. We get a couple of stems all growing close together, all in the same direction. I don't really want that. I think this one in the middle I at least need to get rid of. Let's see. Let's start by, see if we can reduce this one in the middle. for this one, break out the bigger one, the bigger guns. Let's see here. Can I get that in there? Here we go. Clean that up a little bit. All right. All right. So now I've got these two branches here that are kind of grown in the same direction. That's not necessarily a problem right off the bat, but I need to at least do something so that they're not intermingling. So maybe long term, this one can be wired to come down a little bit, and we can take off these shoots here, and maybe these leaves here. So let's start with that. So let's take these off, both of them at once. And then let's take off these. All right, we got a tip here. It's nice and healthy. Let's see how that looks. Okay, it's good. I'm going to take off this one here because it's kind of conflicting with the same stem growing right next to it. So let's do that. And then I'm going to take off this leaf because it's too close to the trunk. All right. Another little twig. Some dead leaves. Let's see. So we're getting close to those two that are sort of grown over each other. Let's see if we can do anything about that. Yeah, we get this whole limb here. It's just like, eh. So, all right, let's see here. Let's take off this. Just trying to get a dead leaf out of there. All right. All right, so what I'm thinking is this is good growth. It's very healthy. I don't really want to lose it, but it can't keep growing in the same direction as this. So either it's going to have to get wired or something. So we'll come back to it, but we're gonna have to do something with it. So let's see. Okay. Starting to look a little cleaner in there. All right. take I don't really like this stem here, the way it's growing. Um, but much like this one, like maybe it could still grow something. And if it could, like that could look nice if it like came off here and went up over here. So I don't want to lose that opportunity. So I'm just gonna reduce it here at the end a little bit. There we go. So maybe we can grow something out over here. Okay. So now we got to get up in here into these ones up here. A lot of stuff growing past each other. All right, let's keep going here. So I think this one here, we're going to need to lose the whole thing. Let's see. Another twig. I will say, like, there's lots of new growth here. Since I got this, just since May, tons of new growth. All right, so this is one we were talking about maybe trying to wire or something. I don't know. We'll see. There's another limb growing right beside it. Well, let's see. Okay, this limb, these are unfortunately growing right out of the crotch of two branches. So I don't think that's going to work long term. So let's get that out of there. And another one, little one right beside it. There we go. So if we're going to wire this to come over this way, then this one is going to have to go. Let's see. See how this is looking. Well, it's looking a lot cleaner for starters. It's a lot more obvious what direction things are growing. You can actually see the growth pattern. Okay. So I think we're at the point now where we're going to have to start making some decisions about which of these limbs do we keep, which leaves on which limbs. Okay. So I think we're going to need to clip this one. Do it with that. Yeah, there we go. Alright. A little bit of cleanup here in the back. That we can get to things better. Look at that. You can actually see things. How novel. Alright, so what are we going to do here as far as directional growth? So we're talking about wiring this one to grow either like that, yeah, that could work. Let's that's our front. We want to lose this one. And okay, so let's see here. So let's trim. We got a couple of twigs here, old dry ones. All right. So this one, I want to bring that down a little. Let's see, I've got, what do we got here? So I got this kit on Amazon that all this stuff came from. It's got these little, very lightweight, like wire ties that might be just right for something like this. Let's see. So all I want to do is I just want to give it enough tension to, pull it down a little so it's growing out instead of just straight up. All right, so let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right, yeah. All right. All right. So that's down a little bit more. I don't want to put too much pressure on it because I don't want to risk damaging the limb down here. So I wish it was pulled down more, but let's just start with this and you know, we can work on it over time. All right, so what do I want to take off of that branch? So this is my front here. I've got this branch here. So we're talking about maybe someday, hopefully something will grow off of this one back here. So I think I'm going to take off these leaves that are going down. So they're not conflicting with that. And I want to take off this large one here that's conflicting with this growth pattern. And let's do this one here. All right, I think that's fine on that one for now. So let's see, we've also got this one that we were talking about wiring. Let's see. It's a very thin limb. I don't want to risk damaging it. Let's just see if we can put a little tension on it. All right. So let's see. Which way do I want it to go? I think I don't really have anything good to wire it to, so we're going to try this. See how this does. Okay, good. At least his two branches aren't crossing now. Let's take out this tiny leaf here. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Let's take off this one. Now, hopefully, since I've wired this one back a little, it's like growing sideways. But hopefully, over the next week or two, as it sits in the sun, it'll kind of start looking more natural and the leaves will curl up a little so it's not literally sideways. Let's see, what do we want to do as far as the other leaves on there? All right, I want to take off this leaf back here because it's conflicting with the other stem on there. Yeah, so maybe if this will kind of turn up right here, that might work. All right, so what we got here? Need to take off one of these. Let's take off this one. If it does turn up, that would be sort of an awkward direction for it to be growing. Okay, all right. All right, so just keep going. So this branch, we're looking at the back here. This is the back now. So this branch, it's not really doing anything too remarkable right now. But it's also not really like conflicting with much either. So let's see here. Let's take off this one and this one. Yeah, yeah. And this one. So we have 5 leaves left on there. We'll go ahead, we'll take off this one. 4 leaves left on that. All sort of growing out and to the side. So, all right, so what are we doing back here now? So again, we're looking at the back. But what do I want it to be doing? Looked at from the front. I think a lot of what's happening here is pretty good, but I want to get rid of, there's one here that's just sort of conflicting with the others. So we got 1, 2, yeah, let's do that. All right, so this can keep growing out. That'll be good. All right. Coming around to the side again. What do we want to do here with this? This might be another good one to wire. Yeah. because we wire this, so it's growing out. I mean, these are tiny, 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 right now. I think this is like a 8-year-old or a 10-year-old ficus. I'm not really sure. So let's see. How do I want this to go? Let's clear in a spot here where this is going to go on. Okay. And I'm like just making these super loose because I mean, not that this is going to like get, hot dog thick overnight or anything. It's not, but I want to make sure she's got plenty of room to grow. I don't want to risk damaging it. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more tension in that one so it's kind of sweeping down a little bit. That way as it grows, it maybe will have a nice arc. I just realized I probably should have taken like a before photo before I started trimming any of this. Oh well, too late now. All right, so now that we've cut that one, or now that we've wired it, I mean, let's figure out which of the leaves on there we need to get rid of. So I think for sure this one is growing down. That would be conflicting with this down here. Probably this one as well for the same reason. Um, I'm going to lose this little one right here as well. Well, I mean, I want to promote small leaf growth, so maybe not that one. Maybe this one. Yeah, this one. I've read that by clipping some of the larger ones, on these, little shoots that have grown out, if you trim it down to 3 to 4 leaves and preferably the smaller ones, then it'll prompt it to grow more small leaves. I don't know if that's true or if I'm even understanding that 100% accurately, but we're gonna go with it. I'm gonna go ahead and take off this one. Well, we've got these two leaves that are kind of growing on two exact opposite sides of the branch, um, which I don't want. Uh, all right, the one in back is a little smaller, but I'm going to take it off because I think it's the one with the most problematic growth pattern. Let's see. And you know what? I think I'm going to maybe do the same thing with the one in front as well. All right. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Okay. All right. So coming back around here to the front now. It's a lot easier to see things now. Imagine that. So I'm going to take off this one. And this one. And this little one's only got 3 leaves on it. I think I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to take off this one. And this one. Again, I'm really trying to pay attention to growth patterns and trying to make sure that I don't have 2 stems growing right close to each other. And wherever possible, I'm trying to preserve the main shoot where the stem terminates. Because that's where a lot of the growth is. So like right up here, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but right up here, there's a shoot. Like I want to keep those as much as I can. Because that's where the growth is heading, right? Um, let's take off this one. Okay. Let's look at this one middle here, sort of in the center of the tree. That would be a good one if we could keep it, kind of keep growing up. Because that could potentially, we've got kind of like handful of directions that the main trunk line can go from up here, right? Right now, it's kind of going up here, right? That's where it's going. Um, but the tree is already a little, I don't know, it's a little off balance. Maybe that's a good thing in bonsai. It feels to me like I want to shift the center of gravity a little bit more back towards the center. I mean, if I'm going to have things that are growing in unusual directions, I'd rather have it be like off the sides a little bit or just have the whole thing tilted, which, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a possible thing to do. Um, I'm probably too novice to know. But, so yeah. So what are we going to do with this? So let's take off this one right up by the shoot, by the tip. And take off this other one also right by the tip. So hopefully that tip will feel prompted to keep growing up. That would be good. All right. So let's see. Now we're kind of left with this other central stem here. This one right here. Let's see. So right off the bat, we got a couple of larger leaves that we can trim. You know, as they're duplicating the growth pattern of stems right next to them. Let's see, from the front, I think we can lose this one. And this one. Again, trying to keep those clean, visible lines of growth. And up here on the, where the shoot is coming out, up here, let's see. Let's lose this one. It's too close to the shoot. And this one. We're going to keep both of those. I think we can keep all of these. Maybe not this one. All right. Now, as I've been cutting, you know, each place I cut, the tree bleeds a little bit of this, the white sap. But apparently, because it's a part of the rubber tree family, that sap apparently seals up the clipped spots very well. So I've read. You know what they say about what you read on the internet. So, must be true, right? Anyway. So, let's see. Did we clip anything? Yeah, we clipped that one. Clipped that one. All right. And then I don't think I've clipped anything on this one. Well, yeah, I did. I did clip. Okay. Yeah, I did clip some. All right. I'm gonna clip. I'm gonna clip this one. All right. Yeah. All right. So I think I've clipped about all of the leaves that I want to clip. What I want to do now is I want to just kind of go through, and we've got a lot of these like old dead stumps that are kind of messing up the lines of the growth. So I want to take these out where I can. Look at that. Dry, came right off. Let's see if I can get that a little closer. There we go. All right. Let's do the same thing here. Back here. Really keep those growth lines clean. All right. Good. All right. Well, I think we're about at a stopping point. We've got more stuff here that these are little stems from where I just trimmed stuff off today. I do want to cut those back closer to the trunk, but I don't want to do it right away. I want to give them a chance to dry out so they just snap right off like these others did. Um, that'll cause less damage to the tree trunk. It'll have less scarring. Um, we've got a lot of potential directions things can go from here, right? Like, so we've got this limb back here, which we're keeping for now because it might grow something. We'll see. I just saw a couple spots here where I need to trim a couple things. Yep, there and there. Boy, a couple. Missed them. There. All right. We'll let these keep growing and kind of fill in the back here some. I am hopeful that maybe this one might grow some stuff because it would be nice to to get some stuff back here. But if that doesn't pan out, it might be possible to wire this one down to grow some stuff, to give a little bit of fullness back here. In fact, let's go ahead and put some tension on that one just to start getting it growing in a more useful pattern. There we go. And I'm just keeping this loose, right? Like this is not a huge tree at this point, and honestly, I don't really expect for it to ever be. So I don't need to put a lot of tension on that. Just enough to get the branch to kind of start growing in a direction more like what I'm wanting. And that already, like that's a lot better. You can see now, if I turn that towards the camera, you can see now with that back here, you get some fullness here, right? That's nice. So it's a little less barren. And okay. So that's all clean. Some of these, like this one here, I'm not sure, like long term, I'm not sure if I'll wind up keeping that because it's kind of growing straight up and might get in the way of some of these other shoots. But I'm going to leave it for now because it at least, I want to make sure the tree has enough leaves so that it continues to get plenty of sunlight, stays nice and healthy. I am giving it the tree food, which is, I'm sure, helpful, but I just don't want to take a chance on cutting off too many leaves and the tree getting sick. But I think what I've got here is enough that it should still be all right. I say that as a complete novice, so maybe I'm totally wrong, and this will be dead in a week. But yeah, I think what we've got here is working pretty good. Might want to wire this one back as well. Maybe. I don't know. I think for now, it's okay. Probably better to wire it while it's young and, got more flexibility. But I also, like, I've already got this one wired to here. If I wire this one, what would I wire it to? Maybe to this down here. That might work. Little stem here I've neglected to get rid of. Will one of these even reach? Yeah, I think so. Which way do I want to go with it? Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Could bring it out. Okay. I think that's what I want to do. All right. We got some good stuff happening here, I think. I think this one, I think I can do better. Now that I've actually cleared up some room here. I think this one, I actually want it over here. So I want to be growing more this direction. All right. So there we have it. I think that's all the cuts and watering I'm going to do today. I'm sure that people that are probably more experienced at this are chuckling over how basic this is, and I may not have done a great job, but I'm happy with it. I think that's what matters. We've got a nice, real clean trunk line up here, all the way to the apex up here. Got some potentially nice growth patterns to work with as this continues growing. Um, I've been keeping this right in front of the window that's right behind me. Um, so it gets a good amount of sunshine every day. And like I said, I've been giving it the special bonsai tree food, so I'm sure that's been helping as well. It looks a lot cleaner now. It's a lot more reminiscent of what I think of as an actual bonsai and not just a plant. Um, so, yeah, I think we're all good now. I've got, some trimmings to clean up, and look at this. Look at all these trimmings. I'm sure some of these probably would even be replantable if, if I were so inclined. I'm not really in the market right now to start growing multiple bonsais. I think it's too soon for that, and honestly, I might just be too lazy. But anyway, lots of clippings here. For my first time ever trimming a bonsai, trying to, care for a bonsai, this feels good, right? Um, I've always heard that this was a sort of almost meditative experience, and while I can't say that I necessarily felt meditative, and maybe part of that's because I'm, you know, sort of talking to you right here and not just solely doing this, but I will say, like, I felt very focused on this and, really, really using my creativity and my, you know, my whole brain to just figure out how this is going to look and which way things might grow. And, obviously a lot of that's a guess. Um, I'm not any kind of plant expert. I'm not a bonsai expert. So I might be totally wrong. Some of this stuff I've done may wind up looking terrible later. And, I guess if it does, that's okay because at least it'll be my terrible, right? So, anyway, with that, I think we're going to call this good. I'm going to clean up and put this back on the shelf under the window and give it a little bit more of its food and some water. It's about time, and we'll see how this looks between now. Let's see, today is June 27th, so we're just kind of right at the start of summer. We'll see how this looks, come end of August or early September, and hopefully it'll be great. Anyway, with that, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for staying with me and watching this whole thing if you did. And if you didn't watch this, and that means I can say, you suck and you'll never know. Um, anyway, thanks a bunch. And we'll see what happens from here. I'm excited. All right? Thanks.